man. Talk to me, baby.
What's what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? So we're doing another outside review. I'm very proud of the last review. The last video I did, you can find a link in the description box or in the comment section down below. But the last video I did, in one video, I reviewed all 9 of the Fast and Furious films, minus F9, obviously. So I reviewed the first 8 Fast and Furious films, and then the spin-off film, all in one video. So you might want to check that out because it's spoiler filled. It's like a 20th anniversary type of thing, if you will. So yeah, definitely check that out. Link to that video is in the description box and the comment section down below. Now, so last night I watched F9, and I tweeted as soon as I finished the movie. I tweeted this, and on YouTube I posted this, and I wrote out some notes for Fast 9. It's about like 666 words, which seems pretty fucking fitting if you ask me. I also sent my buddy Josh. This is what I sent my buddy Josh at 4:20 a.m. Another curious number. I specifically sent him this. Fast and Furious 9 is one of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen in my entire life. I regret watching it, and it's proof of brain damage if one were to happily, voluntarily see it again and again. It is insufferable and an atrocity in cinematic form. A literal piece of shit that should instill embarrassment from all those involved. I'm just going to tell you right away that Fast and Furious 9, F9, whatever, this movie is a 1 out of 10. Just make sure you caught that real specifically. This is a 1. I'm going to go through all my flaws, because when it comes to the positives, I have 0 positives to give. 0. Just go ahead and let that sink in for you. But we have plenty of flaws, though. So let's get started here. So, Roman Pierce, while driving through a wilderness area covered in landmines, has his car launched and stuck into a rock formation. He gets out, and his vehicle is hanging several feet above him. And as he gets out onto the ground, that his vehicle crashes down on top of him, pancakes on top of him, and somehow Tyrese just miraculously survives. Like, he literally just lives, as if like he was inside of a video game simulation, and that shit just restarted real quick in terms of his 9 lives. Okay, even Ludacris himself was like, how did Roman just live? Like, this vehicle was suspended high enough so that when it dropped on top of Roman should have been a literal black meat chocolatey pancake. Okay, of just broken bones and meat and flesh. How Tyrese survived this vehicle falling down on top of him, I literally don't know. I mean, maybe it's like a Buster Keaton type of situation. I have no idea, but what even? The 1989 flashback showing Dom and his brother, John Cena, witnessing the death of his dad is hilariously unnecessary. Imagining it was better. Like, remember in the first Fast and the Furious, where it was Dom, it was Brian, and they were like in the garage with Dom's dad's Dodge Charger or Mustang, whatever the fuck the car is, and Dom's like, yeah, my daddy, he died They said they were screaming, but there was just me. Yeah, that whole sequence, right? Back up a little bit. My fucking fist keeps hitting the... But anyway. See, this whole 1989 flashback, plus any other flashbacks connected to 1989, are so unnecessary. They are like unnecessary The Walking Dead AMC filler episodes. It's just like a totally unneeded filler. Why it's there, I don't know. I guess like it's there to add some rich emotionality to this god awful film. Doesn't fucking work. Also, the actors that they have portraying John Cena, his brother's John Cena. The actors that they have portraying John Cena and Dom are pretty atrocious. Like, their line deliveries are worse than John Cena and Vin Diesel's. What the fuck? Get a load of this bitch right here. Mr. Nobody, played by Kurt Russell, starts the present day events of the movie by sending out a SOS message from a crash plane in Monte Quinto, a region in Central America. His plane is crashed by Cypher, played by Charlize Theron, who, by the way, she has this terrible fucking bowl cut thing, you know, that it just looks fucking terrible. Like, this is Charlize Theron in the entire film to me. Looks terrible. Beautiful woman. Looks like she's getting a little bit of thickness on her finally, but absolutely garbage. Cypher, like I wrote, Cypher, who has a horrible bowl-shaped haircut, is being held in prison that looks like it's made for Magneto. And we come to realize she is aiding John Cena in retrieving two halves of a device called Ares on Kurt Russell's plane. A weapon so dangerous that, verbatim, a weapon so dangerous, this is how Charlize Theron referred to said weapon that John Cena is after. She says that John Cena is after a weapon so dangerous that it shouldn't exist for another half century. A weapon that can, and by the way, this is verbatim, a weapon that can override and assimilate anything that runs on code and any computer, able to control any weapon system on the planet. Jacob can reboot the world order within minutes. What? What in the motherfucking Pierce Brosnan James Bond is that bullshit? What? This, you know what? This might be the first film. It seems like all the films have been building up a crescendo to this moment, but it seems like this is the first film where we have finally, truly, have gone beyond throwing physics out the window, beyond pissing away on realism. We finally have escaped into truly non-arguable sci-fi territory. Yes. I think for the first time, officially at least, the Fast franchise is in science fiction territory. My God in heaven, dog. When you think about the first film from 20 years ago, okay, just this regular fucking, Blue Crush level movie, right? Shout out to Blue Crush. Great film. Great soundtrack as well. But the fact that we went from there to now we're in a MCU level, Black Widow level science fiction film is... Let me see here. What else is some dumb fucking shit in here? Oh yeah, Letty, while driving a motorcycle through the wilderness of Monte Quinto, is thrown off and lands impossibly atop Dom's car. First off, what the fuck is she doing with a motorcycle in this region? Is it... And then her body, almost like on some Fast 6 shit, her body gets caught by the front of Dom's car, and it's just like, how? How? You know what I mean? Oh my goodness. And to think that there's more. Let me see here. Why is Dom and John Cena driving fucking Dodge Chargers in such a remote and hostile area of fucking Central America? Why? Like some of them, like I think Ludacris and Tyrese are driving like these armored vehicles. Why? Why? Why, I ask?
Why the 1%? I ask.
Why, I ask? Why? What else? In Central America, there's a scene where Roman, Ramsey, and Ludacris are in one vehicle, and they drive across a falling away wooden / rope bridge as if God himself lifted them to the other side. Okay, so like, here's a cliff, here's their car, here's the bridge. The bridge is falling away, and yet they are driving on said bridge as it's falling away, and they just ramp up and get onto the other side of the cliff by literal sheer magic. Okay, I'm not even sure that Black Widow or Hawkeye themselves could do such a feat. I'm not even sure that Batman could do such a thing. Even Batman would have trouble doing some of the ludicrous bullshit in this film. Unbelievable. Let me see here. John Cena drives off a cliff, and as his car is falling, actually, we don't even. John Cena, he drives off a cliff, and as he's falling away, and you're like, John Cena's gonna die. This fucking stealth aircraft just swoops in, magnetizes the car to the bottom of the aircraft, and the aircraft just carries. The aircraft catches John Cena's car and just flies him away, just at a rocketing fucking speed. Okay. And sure. Let me see here. What else other bullshit is in here? Dom and Letty in one car drive off a cliff in a way that a rope or a wire snags onto one part of the car, and their vehicle Spider-Man web slings to the other side of the cliff, hundreds of feet away. The car crashes on top of land, rolls to a stop, and they are unharmed. How? How? And then the way that they come to a stop as well. Like, this car is fucking decimated, and they're inside the car like, gee whiz, like, how'd we do that? Let's see here, Bill. I think this film made me go retarded. Dom's evil brother, Jacob, John Cena, he comes from fuck nowhere. He's never mentioned before in the franchise prior to this film. Also, it's John Cena. John Cena. Like, what? They came from the same father? Get out of here. Dom, the man who fetishizes the word family, neglected to mention his brother for 8 fucking movies. How? Like this nigga just shows up as if like he's been mentioned multiple times. It just makes no goddamn sense. No goddamn sense. Listen, enough. We're trying to stop trying to cover up Ryan Gosling. I'm sorry, that was wildly inappropriate. Roman, played by Tyrese Gibson, he literally talks about how the main characters survive situations that would be impossible for them to survive. So it's almost like the movie is acknowledging its own bullshit. It's almost like the movie is bizarrely is self-aware that all of this is bullshit and they don't care. They're just proceeding forward so they can get that money. You understand me? About 14 men shoot at Roman. What? Yeah, think about what I'm saying. So like Tyrese, Roman, he's in like a little fucking crater, right? And on top of crater, there's like these men when they're in Central America. There's these men surrounding them. There's about 14 men shooting directly at Tyrese, okay? And not only is he miraculously unharmed, as if he's like Bruce Willis off of Unbreakable or something like that, there's like literal bullet holes in the clothing. Even Roman himself, the character himself, holds up his clothing, and there's like literal bullet holes in that motherfucker, okay? Roman's just fine. He's just fine somehow. Somehow the characters, in the words of Ludacris himself, the characters have just become invincible somehow. He just didn't fucking die. Let me see here. How the fuck are the main characters able to How the fuck are the main characters able to travel and arrive in time to find the wreckage of Mr. Nobody's plane before anyone else? How I think the wreckage was still like smoking and shit, if I remember correctly. Like, what? Especially when you consider how quickly like the military or like the nearby soldiers like descended upon them when they arrived in Central America. When they arrive at this wreckage, it's like these bad people found Dom and crew quickly, but no one's come across and taken away this wreckage. How is it sensible that Mia Toretto is joining the main characters without Brian being there? How did that work? How did that work? I get why Brian's not here, but like if Brian is removed from the franchise for obvious reasons, shouldn't Mia be removed? Because where Mia goes, Brian goes. Where Brian goes, Mia goes. Like what the fuck? Brian was like, yeah, he's got all three fucking kids like just bouncing on them, and he's like, yeah, babe, I'll just stay at home. It's fine. No. This is a direct quote from Ludacris. Is that a Pontiac Fiero strapped to a rocket engine? What? Like fucking Sean Boswell and fucking Bow Wow. What was his name? Twink or some shit? They're at some jet propulsion site testing out fucking vehicles with rocket thrusters on them. Like we haven't seen these niggas in how long, and the next time we see them, they're testing out spaceship rocket cars, basically. Fuck you. Oh yeah, Cardi B is in this film. She just shows up. Cardi B, she just shows up. She's like, I was like, holy shit. Oh my god, I literally had to pause the movie when she showed up. Fucking, she's talking to Dom. Dom's like, man. Let me see here. Dom versus John Cena. Yeah. First off, at least The Rock versus Dom, at least that was awesome, and especially when you think about the real life animosity, between the two, the feud between the two of them in real life, that fight was banging. You know what I'm saying? This fight is some laughable bullshit that you would have seen in the early 2000s in a live action Disney Channel movie. Their fight is pure garbage, dog. It's pure garbage. Just they're throwing each other around, they're fighting inside some apartment building or something like that. There's a moment where Vin Diesel's head breaks through the top of a doorway in a way that's implausible. That literally Vin Diesel's neck should have broken. I don't know. They're fighting atop vehicles, on some Obi-Wan Kenobi, fucking Anakin Skywalker type of bullshit. There's even a moment where they're like throwing each other. I just don't know. Oh yeah, and then there's the usage of electromagnets. I want you to hold on to that thought. Actually, we're gonna come back to that. Han just fucking shows up with a haircut. Okay, this nigga's been dead for how long? And then the movie is just like, no, Han's back. So, yeah, Han is back. If you wanted that, there's a sequence where there's a sequence where Dom fights about like 14 plus people at once on some like Matrix Reloaded, Neo fighting a bunch of Agent Smiths type of shit. Dom literally, as Letty watches on, like Letty's watching on through like a little window pane, and Letty's like, ah, fucking like ugly crying and shit. And Vin Diesel is fighting multiple men at once in like a Frankenstein type of way, you know? He's like, like he's like taking men and like throwing them impossibly. There's a moment where Dom, he like grabs these giant chains and like pulls them down because they're on top of a bridge, and they fall through this cylindrical fucking environment, crash onto some water, and then somehow like the movie transitions from there to like these flashback sequences. So like all of a sudden Dom, he's just like hallucinogenically, it's just like walking through flashbacks, like looking at his dad and shit, like, hey, Dad, you know what I'm saying? What? Doesn't even make sense. Doesn't make sense. How? People are like just jumping him, like beating on Dom, and Dom's like looking up at Letty and shit, and he's like gathering strength. He's like, oh yeah, there's a moment where Cypher holds a conversation with a bad guy about Star Wars references. This part was so like, this bad guy's talking to Cypher, Charlize Theron, and this bad guy's like, yeah, I'm Luke Skywalker. Maybe I'm Han Solo, and fucking literally without exaggeration, Charlize Theron, she's like, no, you're Yoda. You're a puppet with someone else's hand up your ass. Like she says some fucking stupid retarded bullshit like that, and that was so bad. This was my literal reaction to watching that sequence. This was my literal reaction. I was just like, so Jacob, this is where the movie sent me. Okay, this is where the movie confirmed it was a 1 out of 10. Jacob has to launch a satellite to boost the signal of the range of Ares, a process that can only be stopped physically. So the gang, our main characters, they have to go to outer space to stop this process. And not only that, the people that are sent to outer space to abort this mission, Tyrese and Ludacris in scuba diving suits and duct tape in some Pontiac Fiero with literal rocket thrusters on it, okay? And they literally go to space. Not like some fucking, like, they kind of went into orbit a tiny bit. Like, no, like, they're, like, legitimately are in outer fucking space. Like, we literally see the outside of the globe, and like, Tyrese in the car and Luda. For the longest time, I've been like, yeah, why don't they go to space? Space? Let's go to space, right? But it was done so badly that this thing that I wanted was done so poorly, it was shitty. How is that possible? The thing that I wanted was done so badly, I hated it. How is that even possible? Okay, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when I was a kid, and I was like, you know what? It'd be a great idea to drink a bunch of Mountain Dew. Some cold, crisp Mountain Dew at one time. And then when I actually got what I wanted, it was way too syrupy, and I got sicker than a fucking dead dog. Literally, when they went to space, they went about it in such an illogical, migraine-inducingly stupid way that, like, I literally paused the movie, and I was just like, well, why even continue? Oh my God, to think that there's more. Jesus Christ. Let me see here. After Cypher gets out of her cage, everything after this sequence, it can only be described as extremely frenetic editing. It's almost like the movie's like sped up. Like all of a sudden, like stupid bullshit is happening like as quickly as this. The car chases are mind-numbingly stupid. Just like this, like Dom and Letty are driving around in vehicles that are emitting electromagnetism. Okay, like shit's being magnetized out of shops, and like debris is implausibly is snaking around civilians and shit. There's a moment, dog. There's a moment where Letty's in her car, Dom's in his car. They're using magnetism from their cars, and somehow they make this like giant armored bus somehow levitate in the air and like Dark Knight bus flip onto the ground. Bill? Roman and Luda, while in a car with rocket thrusters on it in outer space, they drive through a satellite to stop it from working. Think about what I just said. Roman and Luda in a rocket spaceship car drive through a satellite to stop that motherfucker. And it did. Holy shit! This is when I literally just lost my goddamn mind. This is when I lost my mind. After Vin Diesel jumps out of a armored bus that rolls off a cliff, he dodging a missile from Cypher, who was in some fucking aircraft, but like she wasn't actually in the aircraft. I literally walked away from the I literally walked away from the movie. Okay, the way that you see fucking Vin Diesel and his little peanut head just emerge, just jump out of the armored bus as it rolls off this cliff, has got to be one of the most hysterically awful, atrocious things I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, and the fact that the movie kept going after that, like fucking Dom, he visits like the racetrack where his dad died, and his dad's like, oh my God in heaven, oh my God in heaven. I cannot believe that. Fucking Charlize Theron, she like walks away after failing to kill Dom, and she's like strutting with her fucking ugly fucking like bowl haircut and shit. She's like, well, I'll be back in Fast 10. I'll be back in Fast 11. So I guess it's supposed to be like part 1 and part 2 or some bullshit. But these are supposed to be the final Fast and Furious films, or maybe the 10th. I don't know. They're supposed to be the final films. The target release dates for the final 2 films at the current time is February 2023 and February 2024. Apparently, we just need to release them back to back for some reason. Guys, this is truly a 1 out of 10. Okay, this is like, I mean, it wasn't even at least with like Fast 7, Fast 6, at least like it was preposterous, but like it made me laugh. You know, the characters, they could be bizarrely warm and understandable, and like, and at least they tickled my ballsack a little bit. But like this film was so bad, it was just frustrating. Like, it wasn't even funny for once. It was so over the top that my mouth was just open and my brain just like a bad remote. It just stopped working. For Fast and Furious 10 and 11, whatever spin-offs are coming, I don't give a fuck about them. Okay, unless someone wants to like pay me to see the spin-offs, I'm not seeing those goddamn spin-offs. They can literally, hold on a second. They can literally suck it this thick. I do have some ideas for Fast 10 and Fast 11 actually that I'd like to share with you good boys and girls. So this is my ideas for the final films of Fast and Furious. Fuck the spin-offs. The final film or films of Fast and Furious should include time travel, a musical, Jurassic World crossovers. Could you imagine? Could you imagine like we see Dom like he ejecto cedo gets out of his car, lands atop a fucking velociraptor, and he's like chasing after like Charlize Theron and like a velociraptor. Like, could you imagine? Could you imagine? I'm just saying. That could at least warrant like a 2 out of 10 at least. Like everything I'm saying could at least bring us to a 2 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, more outer space. I like the idea of like maybe we go back to outer space for some reason. Like we go to the moon. Maybe there's like secret bases on the moon, and like they get stuck in space. And like so in one movie, they're like stuck in space, and then like in the next movie, it's like them returning from space, like to go home. You know, for family. Transformers. I would love to see some Transformers crossover. Could you imagine Dom and Letty driving what's the old bitch ass name? Bumblebee? That would tickle my ballsack. Oh yeah. And the remaining main characters being inducted into the MCU. I feel like contractually this is a bit of a nightmare, but listen, these movies are making billions of dollars. I'm sure it's feasible. Could you imagine like we see fucking like who would we see? Who would we see? We would see like Spider-Man being like, "Hey guys, welcome to the team" or some shit, or fucking like Daredevil, you know, because he's fucking blind and shit, and he's like, "Hey guys, welcome to the team." Also, I think that Paul Walker should return fully CGI with a beard and long hair, just to spice things up, you know. Could you imagine? Is there anything else? No. Bill?
When did this turn into Beautiful World?